Hey, welcome back, guys. New devlog. Let's go. Got a couple of extra things to show you. So, let's start with this guy. Well, this girl, actually. This is our engineer friend. That's gonna be our upgrade NPC. How cool is that? I was so happy with the design. It's like I had no idea that I could actually do like humanoid characters with 16 by 16s. But hey, it worked out. You know. She looks cute. She looks very cute. Anyways, this is our upgrade NPC. And now that we have an upgrade NPC, we also have an upgrade system. How cool is that? Woohoo! It took me ages. It took me longer to do an upgrade system. So we can talk to her and we get this. So no transition screens yet. This is just like the basic stuff, right? This is just so I can start putting stuff together and get a demo done. But yeah, this took me longer than working out how to do procedural generation for a dungeon. This was like 3 or 4 days or whatever. It's not even hard to figure out. Like this stuff isn't that hard to work out in your head. It's just making the icons, putting everything together, making stuff work, connecting. Also, I'm sorry. I know that the pinging sound is kind of loud. I need to lower that. And I haven't put a limit on it yet, so we can go overboard. Because I'm still testing, right? I'm not sure if I'm gonna put anything else. Um, but yeah, everything here works. They're connected. Well, except for the thrusters. This one, like the movement speed thing, I haven't connected that yet. But everything else works. So like crit damage, I'm gonna give myself a bunch of materials. You can't see it, but you'll be able to see it now. There we go. So we leveled up, and I have a bunch of mats, right? So every time you level up, the material cost goes up. So let me lower my volume. And these values aren't set in stone. This is just for testing, like I said before. So let's go, I don't know, 21% or 20. So you can see like crit damage, this works as well. Let's go higher. And then let's say like, oh, I want more magic damage, right? It's the gold. I keep running out of gold. So yeah, we have a bunch of magic damage. We have physical damage. Right. So we can upgrade our health, our mana pool. Like that. The health. This is our physical damage. That's magical. That's crit damage. And then movement speed. Also, I love the whole mana tech theme. The gold and the blue and all this stuff coming together. I really like how the icons came around, like came to be. So I did the armor first, and then I really enjoyed the color palette. And then I was like, mana storage. Yeah, I'll just make like this square thing with a gem. And then I was thinking like mana shaper. I was thinking something like a crossbreed of a lightsaber with like something you can shape the mana to your will. That kind of stuff, right? That's my thought behind it. And then the goggles. So this is all the gear that Rogue has under the red coat, right? Uh, and I went with the whole mana tech is this like mana colored for the gems, right? The blues, and then like this gold plate thing for everything else, and it's really cool. I like this the theme. Anyways, let's exit. Uh, Now in the dungeon, well, this is all procedural, right? I can full screen. The UI is still 100% experimental. This is just for me to have stuff on screen so I know what the heck's going on and if we're picking up stuff or not. I'm thinking of making an inventory system. Well, it's gonna have an inventory system because I want to do equipable items. to so the basic upgrade system that we have right now, that's for the main stats. But now I want to do an inventory system with equipable items that change the stuff that happens to your character, right? So for example, you shoot a fireball, now your explosion is bigger, right? Or when it hits an enemy, it explodes 3 more times. That kind of stuff, right? Or for example, with this system with the AP, let's say that every time you hit an enemy, you have a 50% chance of getting AP back, so you can do more attack damage. That kind of stuff, right? Anyways, so now when we kill stuff or when we break things, we actually collect. Well, we have a chance of dropping materials. See, there's a pink one there, and there's a couple of coins. This one was just coins. Dude, this was like the most annoying room to show this stuff on. We upgraded the magic so much that it just kind of like blow up. But as you can tell, every time you kill one, they have a chance of dropping materials now. And each enemy has their own stuff, right? So the man attack scraps, those come from the golems and all machinery. And then you have the blue, the green, and the pink. Well, you can sort out which one gives what, right? There you go. We had some pinks. That one we blew up, and as you can tell, there's some scraps on there. And again, all these icons, they're experimental, right? This is just to make stuff work. We haven't been getting crits, right? So the crits, I'm not too sure on the color yet for the numbers, so I just made it red. Oh, there we go, 70. But it's the same red as when you take damage. So, I'm not too sure on it. I tried a different color, but nothing's really working out as good as red. Yeah, so this part is still the same. So the big difference is the materials. Right, there's crit chance and crit damage now. Oh, that dude didn't die. There's an upgrade system. And that's about it. And there's materials, right? For you to collect and upgrade your character. And sadly, that is it. Like, I would love to say that, oh yeah, it's been like a week or whatever, and we have so much more stuff to show you. But the truth is, this thing, right, this took forever and a day. Because, like, everything needs to work. This is, you look at it is like, oh, this looks so simple. You know, what is so hard about this? Well, you need to think that, for example, the MP plus 4, that's a text object. The 102, that's a different text object with a different variable. The 106, that's a different text object with a different variable on it with a small calculation. And then there's the 3 icons that I had to design. There's all the icons on the left that I had to design, which took forever. Design and draw and put them in and all this jazz, right? For example, the levels on each of the items, that's a different text object with a different variable. That's everything. All of this is connected, right? And then you have to consider that for this one to have different values, better yet, for this one to use the same materials as this one, like for example the gold and the material scraps, the manatech scraps, they have different values, right? They require different things, but they use the same item. That's because they actually are different variables under a different structure, right? It's a pain in the butt. That's what I'm trying to say, right? So, for example, the 1316, that's a min damage slash max damage variable, and then the other one has the little calculation, and so on. This whole thing is just a pain in the butt. But you've seen how this whole thing looks. I can show you a little thing, a little bit behind the what the heck is going on, right? Let me just zoom out. But before I close this, so now we have a basic upgrade system. There's a couple of steps that are missing, and then I'll have a workable demo, right? One is I'd say at least another two enemies, two enemy types, and a boss, right? I want to make an enemy champion, a boss, and then a regular enemy. That's the three that's missing. And then I want to do an inventory system for stuff that you pick up and you can equip to your character, and your character does different stuff depending on what you have equipped. I also want to have an upgrade system for the amount of items you can have equipped. And I also want to add like chests so you can get more materials to upgrade more stuff or to get more items to equip. So that it's a few things. It seems like a lot, but I'd say like a couple of weeks, and I'll have it done. And then we'll have a workable first demo, like a developer demo that I can put out. You guys can play, and I can just build from there, and people can play and give feedback, and I can just add and add and add and add on top, right? Anyways, if you want to see some of this stuff, I'm not even sure if showing you the upgrade shop is gonna do anything, right? Uh, Beginning of the scene. Do I have anything? Like it's just hide a bunch of like slots and stuff. Let me zoom out so you can read. I can't. Then we have the cursor movement. It's this stuff. It has no lock yet. The select and upgrade, like I can show you the first one. You can figure out the rest, right? So that's selecting one upgrade. And then buying the actual upgrade. Let's say the body armor. Does that. As you can tell, it's a lot of variables. It's a lot of stuff. And then it's just exit the shop. And is there anything down here? No, interact button reset. I don't think this is so that when you press a button, it doesn't like constantly buy. And as exit the shop. Whatever, right? The actual upgrade thing. Let me just close this real quick. And if there's anything that you saw and you're like, I wonder how that's done. Like, how do you do this? How do you do that? That kind of stuff. Just leave the question in the comments, and I'll make a video into it. And I'll build a little something showing you how to do that specific thing. Also, if you're enjoying this kind of stuff, be sure to like subscribe, leave a like, all that jazz. It really helps. I was gonna show you the up. Do I still have it open? Yes. There we go. So this is the upgrade menu. As you can tell, there's a bunch of texts. So these are the slots, and when the cursor is on top of one of these slots, that's when we do like, oh, if it's colliding with this, does that, right? Then these are objects, right? Each one has a different variable. I hide, for example, this thing I hide because I didn't like it. So again, I'm still experimenting, right? But for example, this one, these ones, I use the ones that I need to use and I hide the rest. For example, if the item to upgrade only requires the 3 materials, then I use number 1, number 2, and number 3, and I hide number 4 and number 5, right? And then when the cursor is in collision with, let's say, slot 1, then I create the icons for the materials on this object minus the width of the object. So that way it's always nicely aligned behind the text, right? So it creates the object. And then when we select a different one, we delete the objects and then recreate the new ones, right? Anyways, so that's the upgrade menu. It's just a bunch of text. And I'm still not happy with this. And my God, turning this into mobile, it's I'm just gonna put buttons on the screen and you can play it on mobile that way. But changing how the layout is to fit in the mobile controls all neatly so you can see the whole screen. No, I'm not doing that. That is insane. Uh, what else? Well, what else can I show you? Fireball. I just did the crit system. So the crit is something like this, right? So my fireball is when it collides with something, it creates this invisible object that I call the fireball damage impact. There you go. It's just red square that's invisible. And then when that's in collision with the enemy, that's when it does damage, right? So to do crits, when the thing hits the enemy, it's gonna roll a number. Wait, knockback. Wait, what? Okay, this is dumb. So I was actually doing 2 times the damage. Or maybe it wasn't doing properly because I just copy pasted this. Oh dearie. Oh dearie me. Let's get rid of this. So we don't need the knockback. I don't think we need this. We don't need that. I think we keep the enemy hurt sound. No, we don't. Yeah, enemy hurt's already there. So we even close this. All right. So when this thing is in collision with an enemy, then we do a repeat for each enemy. And then we roll a number, like random in range between 1 and 100, right? So this is the calculation that's going to start the crit thing. And then we need a different variable that you just call crit chance, right? And then you're going to test the crit chance against that number that was from 1 to 100, right? That I just called crit, right? So if the number is if crit is bigger than crit chance, so let's say you have 10% crit chance, meaning let's say you have 10 crit chance, and the number rolls an 80, then 80 is bigger than 10. So you don't get a crit, you do normal damage. If you rolled a 9, then 9 is less than 10, so you get a crit, right? So 10%, right? If you have 20, if you roll a 21, then you don't get a crit. If you roll a 20 or 19 or an 18 or whatever, then you get a crit, right? So that's down here. If it's less or equal to crit chance, that's when you get the crit. So if you don't get the crit, you do normal damage calculations. In this case, I have a variable that just randomizes and picks a number between minimum damage and maximum damage, right? And then applies that to something else. I already explained all this jazz. If you want to do crit percentage, it's a mouthful. So to do the crit damage, it's this thing, right? So it's I do a round so you don't get the 17.5 numbers, right? You always get a round number. So instead of 17.5, I think it rounds down to 17, right? So round, open parenthesis, and then you do this whole thing, right? So in my case, I have enemy variable, the damage roll, which is the first one. Let me show you that. Right. So this whole thing is like a stepping stone. Where do we go? Where do we go now? So, all right. So first we get a damage roll because we need a base damage. In this case, I roll between minimum damage and maximum damage. Let's say we get a 10, like to round things, right? Or better yet, let's say we have 100, just to be extra nice. So let's say this variable damage roll rolled 100. Now we need to add the crit damage to that 100. And to add a percentage, you go like this. So damage points, which is the variable that I use to subtract the actual damage, we're going to do a little calculation, which is the round, and then enemies variable damage roll, which is the 100, right? We just rolled the 100, plus, and then this is the tricky thing, right? It's plus the same variable, enemies variable damage roll, which is 100, divided by 100, which is 1, times crit damage. So let's say you have 50% crit damage. So it's 50 times 1, 50. So you add the 100 to the 50, and now your damage total is 150, right? So if you have 100% crit damage, right? It's the same thing. 100 divided by 100, which is 1. 1 times 100, which is 100. And then you do 100 plus 100, which is 200. So that's the calculation, right? If you rolled damage of 200, right? It does the same thing, right? So it's 200 divided by 100, which is 2. 2 times, let's say you have 50%. 2 times 50 is 100. So you add 100 to 200, which is 300. I hope that made some sort of sense, right? So that's what I'm doing with this mouthful of an equation, right? I'm doing the damage roll plus the damage roll that's been turned into a percentage of the crit damage, and then you add the two together. If that didn't make sense, don't worry. Don't do damage numbers. Don't do crit damage. All you have to do is like at the end, just do times 2. Just make your crit damage always do double damage. To do that, you just do the damage roll times 2, and that's it. You're done. But I wanted to be fancy with my stats, so yeah. Also, I like this kind of calculations. I hate math, but this kind of math, this is my favorite kind of math. The physical damage is the same stuff. Dealing damage. What else did I do? Oh yeah, the rewards. I can show you that. Damage numbers gradient. We don't want that. Taking damage. No, we want the killing the enemies. Enemies defeated. There we go. So, to do the randomness of you getting an item, this is how we do. We kill an enemy, so if the health of, let's say, the green jelly equals 0, then we're going to repeat for every single green jelly, if we kill multiples at the same time. And then we do a bunch of stuff, but this is mostly just explosions and sounds and all that stuff, right? The important one is down here. It's the the material reward and the gold reward. So the material rewards and gold reward of green jelly, we set it to random in range between 0 and 5, right? This depends on whatever it is you want to put, right? And then we do a repeat for that variable. So we repeat for green jelly dot variable, then open material reward. So for example, if the variable rolled a 2, this event is going to repeat twice. If you roll the 5, it's going to repeat 5 times. If you roll the 0, it's going to repeat 0 times, right? And all this does is create a material or a gold coin at the green jelly. And when they're done repeating the amount of times they need to repeat, then they move on to the next event, which is deleting the actual green jelly, deleting the enemy, right? So that's very simple. Just do a variable that's randomly between this number and this number, and then you do a repeat event, and then you put that variable on the repeats, right? So that, the variable rolls a 1, repeats once. If it rolls a 10, it repeats 10 times, right? And then it gives you the rewards that many times you just repeated for. I don't know why I explained the same stuff like 5 times. I don't know. It's just my brain. And that's it. That was a lot of talking, but that was it. It was mostly the freaking UI thing. The UI thing took me forever. It's like, honestly, doing the room generation, that was like a day and a half to work it out. This was a long time. But it's cool. I like it. I like the way it looks. I think it looks okay. I like the little effect thing on the select items. I like the finger pointing that's from Mennonite. I drew it. It's my asset, so I was like, I'll just use it, right? It becomes sort of a theme. And also like the blue and gold theme that's going on. I also like it for the story wise, You're going in these ruins, and there's like this ancient, machinery stuff, and it's all like Manatech. It's all like gold and blue and stuff. And yeah, I like that part. So, anyways, that was it. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, again, subscribe, leave a like. Buy me a coffee in the description. And I'll catch you guys on the next episode. I hope you guys are getting pumped for Mennonite. I'm getting, not Mennonite, Mana Rogue. I'm getting super pumped. And our little engineer friend is ultra cute. Look at that cuteness. Oh my god, look at how cute she is. Look into her eyes. She's too cute. I love that. Alright, anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Hopefully with some cooler stuff to show you. Till then, you have a good time, stay safe, and peace out.